Good morning. How are you?
I am well. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, thank you. Coming to you on the hands-free Bluetooth, heading into Olympia.
Good. You got to make those distinctions nowadays. You got to make sure people are
I
aware.
know.
Well,
I know. Heads down.
first things first, let me get your thoughts. We heard last night that Shelton City Manager Ryan Wheaton resigning at the end of the month. I know you guys have talked often about things going on in the city. You have any comment on that?
Yeah, well, I'm very disappointed that he's leaving. However, I understand his point of view, and sometimes you get to that point where you got to make a change, and it's unfortunate. It's a big loss for the city. I thank Ryan though for all he's done. I wish he could continue, but I understand sometimes you get to these crossroads, and you gotta. Yogi Berra says, "When you get a fork in the road, you got to take it." So,
That's right.
Yeah, but sad to see him go, and I'm hoping that we can, perhaps find another role for him in the community. But time will tell on that.
Yep, definitely. Yesterday, a big day at the Capitol. There, Kids Day, and so that was going on. What else has been going on in the House of Rep?
Yeah, we're moving along. Doing a lot of joint budget briefings in the House with both Democrat and Republican budget writers, and working through the governor's proposed budget. So that's been happening. We've got some floor votes today, and probably tomorrow as well. And most of it is bills that passed the House last year, but for one reason or another didn't make it through the Senate. And since we're in the same biennium, we don't have to go back and rehear them. So we'll be voting off a number of bills that passed the House last year and sending them off to the Senate again, and to see if we can get them through. So. Things are moving along. We're still working on getting a Hirst resolution so that we can get the capital budget done. But I don't have any great news to report there yet, other than that negotiations have been happening, and so that's certainly a good thing. I don't know what transpired yesterday in those talks. I'll find out later today. But as the world today, we don't yet have a solution on that issue.
Are you at least hopeful that the negotiations are ongoing? I know some of these negotiations regarding budgets and things like that are quite tenuous and can fall apart at any moment. So the fact that the folks have been able to talk now for, I guess, at least a week, is that some good signs?
Yeah, well, the Hirst discussions, on that, it's always positive when you're still talking, right? So there's that. But I get the sense, because I'm not involved on the actual negotiations regarding the Hirst decision, so I find out after the fact. But the sense that I generally get is that we take two steps forward and one back, so it's a little bit of a snail's pace, but. As the world sits today, again, I'm confident that we're going to get a palatable solution to Hirst for a long-term solution, and with that, be able to get the capital budget done. We're not there yet, but and again, the capital budget itself is not in contention. It's all revolving around Hirst. So. Yeah. I'm hopeful. I don't have any reason at this point to lose hope on that. As long as talks are still going, we're moving forward.
I was talking with your cohort here in the 35th, Dan Griffey, yesterday, and we were talking about this Hirst situation as well. We've been hearing some things where there may be different solutions to different areas of the state, but then I also have heard of some thoughts on putting everybody under the same umbrella, whereas people in Seattle would need to look for the same things that folks in the rural areas are going to look at. Do you fall in one camp or the other on this?
Well, I believe, by and large, when it comes to major policies like this that affect the entire state, I do believe in one Washington. And if there's gonna be a mandate that there's an imposition of a daily water usage limit on private wells, why shouldn't that same limit then apply across the board on other water systems, including that in Seattle? So I do agree with that. We're either all in this boat together or we're not. And so going forward, it's that is percolating to the surface, and I think I think it's a valid concern. How can you tell one set of homeowners or property owners that you can only use so much, but another group of people, there isn't any limit if that's the path we're going to go down. So to me, it certainly would seem fair that we have consistency across the state.
Looks like there's been a bill proposed to introduce a statewide sugary beverage tax, like up in Seattle. We've been seeing some amazing photos of people at stores showing the price of a case of Gatorade proper, and then a price with the Seattle beverage tax. You think this is going to get anywhere?
Right. I don't. That was introduced by Representative Marcus Riccelli, a Democrat from Spokane. He and I were both elected in 2012. I'm good friends with him. But I see very differently on this issue. This is to me, this is once again the state interfering in the day-to-day lives of its citizens, and what will be next? I mean, it's the proverbial slippery slope. I mean, are we going to legislate then your entire diet? I do not buy into that notion. We go too far with government, and this is when people just start. Even in Seattle, you're seeing the rebellion on this. And to take this statewide, I would adamantly oppose, and I don't see a scenario right now where that would even get through the House. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I'm disappointed that he introduced it, but certainly his right to do so. And but I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
Is this considered a sin tax? The taxes on the alcohols, the marijuanas, the cigarettes, things like that. Is sugary beverage considered a sin now?
Well, I guess to some people it is. It's interesting that Seattle initiative, the way it was written, they found a way in the language to specifically exclude the huge coffee industry and the way a lot of lattes and mochas are made. They wrote the initiative to specifically exclude that. And I find that interesting. It's their argument is not quite so pure when they're excluding the things that they really enjoy. Huh. But yeah, I guess some people would consider this a sin tax. I don't have a problem with the high taxes on tobacco and alcohol. That's something that has been a part of our society for generations, and it's pretty widely accepted. And part of it is to ensure that it's not affordable to those that legally cannot utilize it. And so it's to me, it's an entirely different category. We're talking about soda that is a legal product to all ages, and it's up to I believe in individual freedom, and the individual should make that choice as to whether they want to lead a healthy life or not, and not have government interfering on that.
35th District Representative Drew MacEwen stops by weekly here on Daybreak. Good to talk with you, Drew.
Likewise. Have a great day.
Have a good one.